wanted to break down. I kind of drew this out the other day, and yeah, I just wanted to kind of, yeah, people always ask me, well, like, what's your strategy? Can you teach me how to trade and stuff like that? And I kind of don't really have a strategy. My main strategy is I trade patterns, but I also trade a couple of other things, a couple of other setups. So I like head and shoulders, I like reversals, trend line breaks, um, consolidations, and trading the continuation after big moves and stuff like that. So I managed to get quite a lot off this off this pair, off CADCHF, and I just really wanted to kind of break down um, how I've been trading it and what exactly I've been looking at on this kind of downtrend towards the 4 hour key level. So, and also just like some of my entries and some of my exits. I did manage to get in this trade yesterday, although I got stopped out at a +1R, and it kind of continued down to the second leg of liquidity, which is usually where I look to take profits anyway. So I've kind of put this one on, even though it's, you know, the trade hit. The trader behind it wasn't the best because I got stopped out at +1R, but you know, the rest have been fantastic. So let's just dive straight into it. So we're just going to go to the 4 hour and also have a look at the day, or we'll have a look at the daily first. So in the daily, we can see that we've got like this really strong level. We're not really getting any closes above it, so that wouldn't have been a close above it on the weekly. But you know, we keep seeing price tap into this area of like sell side liquidity here, and it can't seem to break above it. So once price kind of reached this area, I think it was maybe last week or maybe this week, I'm not too sure. You know, you kind of start looking for the reversal, and you start looking for the shorts. So we're going down to like the 4 hour here. We're going down to the 4 hour here, and this is exactly what I'm looking at. So we've got this this key 4 hour level here, and price managed to break above it, retested it a couple of times, and then continued to the upside. So if we go down to the hourly, we can kind of have a look at exactly what I'm looking at, and how I've been getting in and out of the trades and making sure that, you know, we get quite a lot of R out of this. So we've got a 6R here, 11R, about an 18R, 18R, 24R, and I'm now looking to get another 6R off it. So we've got 24R, another 6R, so 30, and so we're looking to try and get basically a 35R out of this downtrend to this level. So essentially, as I say, we had this uptrend, so we had this trend line, and we've got obviously this 4 hour key, or this key 4 hour level here. Now we saw at this at the top of this uptrend that and especially along this key daily level, that we kind of started to have a head and shoulders appear. Now the reason for this trade was I saw this trend line break and also this liquidity tap up here, and I was like, right, okay, well, I'm going to get in this early. So got in this early, and what I was looking for was a break of this neckline and then a retest of this level to be able to get back in. And for me, I don't like to target too far down because the market has a funny way of reversing, which is exactly what I did on this trade yesterday. So I usually target like the first or the second leg of liquidity, and due to the fact that this was like the key 4 hour level, I just wanted to take my profits here. Could have let it run a little bit more, and it would have wiped out this liquidity here, but still managed to get like an 11R out of this. So we go into the markets, we take out here, and then we've taken out this leg of liquidity, and we kind of like, we came back down. So we had obviously this lower high, then we made a low, and we've got this kind of lower high, which was also retesting the neckline yet again, and then we've got these wicks, which I'm pretty sure this was news orientated. We've got these wicks that are that's above this daily level. Now this is a liquidity grab to help price move down, but we're also hunting stops and stuff. So this is why it's important to be in and out the market and not leave it down to the market too much, because say we would have got in up here, we would have been okay, and then to be fair we could have just ridden it all the way down, but you never know. If we were looking to just trade the neckline, you would have got stopped out here most likely, and if you were putting your thing above there, then that's fine, but really at that point you're only looking at a 2.6R, so you're not really able to trade too heavily. So yeah, that's why it's kind of important to just be in and out of the markets, because the only control that you have is, being, the only control that you have is where you enter the market and also where you exit the market. The rest is all down to the markets. It just takes one single trader to completely change the dynamic of the markets. So yeah, after we kind of had that, and after we had this move, we target this first area of buy side liquidity on the trend line on the way up. Now, after we kind of tapped into this, we saw that price wasn't going to break above it, and we started to form, quite a strong trend. So I looked to enter the market. Here, I entered relatively soon. I did this one on the 15 minute. Once price kind of broke properly below it, and I saw these lovely wicks, not able to push above it, I then entered the position and placed my stop above this area of liquidity up here. So fortunately, Donald Trump mentioned about the Canadian tariffs, and price just fell straight down. Like literally, the trade, I was in it for about an hour, made like a 54 pip move. It was absolutely lovely. But what we can see here on the hourly that price has actually tried to close below this level, and it's not able to. So what do we do then after that? What we do is we just wait. We're patient. After this big move, we know that we're going to see a consolidation. We can see kind of like an order block up here. We just wait to see if price has actually formed like a trend line, if we're going to reach that trend, and we just trade basically the break of the trend line. So once this consolidation is over and we move into this here, we essentially look to get into another trade. Now, I made the fatal mistake here on this trade of what I would usually do is I would have usually targeted this liquidity here. I put my stop to break even a little bit early because of this this mess all the way down, or because of this mess. It's like price was just not moving down. I expected it to move down a lot faster. It turned out that the reason it had, sometimes when we tap this area here, I thought maybe the downtrend had run out of steam, but it seems today that all it needed to do was touch the trend line and grab that trend line liquidity to start moving it down. So I kind of made the fatal mistake of looking to target this area here, which wasn't following my plan. And then also as well, when we started having this choppiness, I got a little bit anxious, and then decided to trail my stop to a +1, and then I got stopped out at +1. +1's better than losing money, don't get me wrong, at least we're taking profit, but it's just, as I say, it's just the trader behind it. For all the other trades, for the 18R, we managed to smash that. Then what we've seen is a reversal. It seems like kind of the markets were waiting for Trump to talk. Price still can't break above this level. We've tapped this trend line today, so that's the third touch. This meaning it's quite a strong trend, and then we've started pushing down. Now my stop here is a little bit. I'm actually in this trade at the moment, and my stop here is a little bit larger than some of the other stops, and it's simply just for the fact that I don't want to get wiped out. So I've kind of just placed it above this liquidity here. Then I'll look to hopefully get into another position, which is really this strong area here, and then look just to really be targeting this key level and hopefully be able to get a 35R out of it. But you can kind of see like a few different strategies along this, and as I say, it's kind of just me trading the price action on the higher time frames, mainly on the hourly time frame, and also taking into account some of the 4-hour time frame. So one of the reasons for this trade yesterday is because this 4 hour candles were just like not closing below that, and then we saw a 4 hour, or we saw a doji on the 4 hour. And I was like, right, I think we're going to reverse. So I put the stop at +1. Wouldn't have really changed it. I mean, you can see here on the other moves down that okay, they're really strong candles all the way down. And once we tapped into this kind of key level, price was struggling quite a lot. So to me, that could signal, okay, maybe we're at the end of the trend. Maybe we need to touch the trend line for the liquidity. So, as I say, what my strategy here is one. So for the first entry, we have we basically have a trend line break. And we have like a tap of liquidity, of which I thought was going to be the headline the shoulder, but I'm just trading the trend line break on the higher time frame, higher time frame here, and just placing my stop like slightly above the candle closes here. Then what we have is we have a head and shoulders, and then we have a break and a retest, and we're just targeting that liquidity. So we've got a trend line break here. So we've got a breakout, and then we've got a head and shoulders here. This is really like another retest. So I'd say this is like probably a break and retest. This here is a consolidation continuation trade, and then this here is a trend line trade, and then also I'm looking here for just a simple break and a retest just to be able to add to the trade. So we've got like a few different strategies, and really it's all we're doing is we're kind of trading the price action on the higher time frames for this, and just being able to kind of get in and out of the market. So for me, like this is my favorite strategy. I just like to trade breakouts, so trendline breakouts and reversals, kind of tied with key zones, so support and resistance. I also like to trade head and shoulder patterns because it's quite a reliable pattern. I mean, I've just sent out like I think about 10 maybe now, even because we've had quite a few the past couple of days, so about 12, and I think like 8 of them, or no more than that, 11 of them have come to fruition. So it's a really strong pattern on the 4 hour, and if you can get like that neckline and you can get in there properly, you're always set for quite a good trade. And then here we kind of have like a trend line trade crossed with support and resistance yet again, so just like key areas and a continuation. I also like to trade, so for me, like being able to define a strong area I don't base it off I don't really base it off like bodies. I base it off like wicks, because for example here, if we get like the close of a body and then we start getting wicks, the wicks for me tell more of a story, because it's where someone has tried something. So say for example sellers have tried to push it below this and they just can't. So we can see here like on the 15-minute that okay, you can see here on the 15-minute that okay, we are actually getting candle closes below it, but every time then kind of like what you want to see is you want to see more of a push down and then a retest. You want to actually see some gap, but every time they've tried, like they just can't, and you get to see that a little bit more on the hourly. And if you want like a really strong key level, then you're simply looking at the 4 hour. So when you start getting these 4 hour wicks, you know that that's the key level where you're really getting the most taps. So yeah, as I mentioned, like we're just kind of trading the trend line liquidity. Here's the breakdown of like this drawing that I've done, and this is really what I see when I'm looking at the markets and looking for my positions, my entries and exits. So yeah, I'm hoping that's helped you guys out a little bit in terms of like trading price action and also my strategy. So yeah, if you've got any questions, just let us know in the comments. And if you'd have done anything differently, I'm always interested to hear as well.